Here's a quick overview of scheduling with Fedica. So there's a couple ways you can schedule posts to your calendar, either with complete automation, with some optimization, or by scheduling to a specific time. I'm going to show you all three of them and how they work together. So here, let's create a post here. Just like that. Once you have your post complete, you can send it right to the platforms you choose here, or you can schedule it to a content queue. Now, content queues are just a way to categorize your posts no matter how you want to do your strategy. So it could be two different platforms, it can be different days of the week, it could be even optimized for different time zones for your audience, for example. So if you send it to a queue, it's going to automatically have a schedule and it'll fit right into your calendar. So now the other option is to have a little bit more control. So let's say you don't want to send it right away to a queue that has everything set up. You'll click specific date here and you can optimize it for an audience using one of our schedules in the hours section. And this way you have a little bit of optimization, but it's still not total automation. So you can pick the day, for example. So I'm going to send this on Sunday and I'm going to pick, it's going to be for my Australian audience, so optimized for them. So it's going to pick the best time within that day, so it has a little bit of flexibility. So if I send that to the calendar, it's going to send it to this day, and it's probably going to be around like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. for us in my time zone. So that's going to be the optimized version. And then you have the exact time version where you can just pick the time like 12 noon, for example. You can always choose to repeat the post, but if you post it to X, it's going to be a repost. And then you can schedule it more than once until a certain time. Now, this might be useful for people who say good morning every day, for example, but that's the flexibility that you get with Fedica. So it's not that difficult. If I send this to the calendar, it's going to go at that exact time. If I do decide to have a little bit of optimization, I can set up these schedules ahead of time and make sure I either target certain days of the week, certain time frames within a day, and make sure that it gets posted to that. So let's go for this optimized, and we have it for Sunday there. So let's add it to the calendar and go to the calendar, and on Sunday of next week here, now we have it right there. So this is going to be posted at 9 a.m. for us, which for a Sunday is probably a typical time for Australians to be browsing on their socials, which makes sense. Here's the Australian queue, for example. If I did choose to send it to a queue, the only difference here is that it's organized together in a queue with a color here. Like our blog, for example, gets posted optimized to our American audience, so it's around 11 a.m. typically, and then here's our Australian content queue. So those are the differences when you schedule things with Fedica here. So if I edit this and send it back to my drafts, now we can create a queue if we want. So go check out the content queue video where I show you how to create these. You can create them for an RSS feed if you want, and you just have to attach a different schedule to these queues. This gives you that control so that when you're in the calendar, you don't have to think about your strategy when you're scheduling. Everything is going to come together because you've already set it up ahead of time. And finally, go to publish here in the calendar settings. You can edit these schedules. So when we created that post for the Australian and Asian audience, this is optimized for these time zones. And we saw that on Sunday, it was 9 a.m. and it's automatic. So if you edit that, you have tons of control here. This is any day. It's always optimized for that time zone. And there's a video breaking down how this works as well. So there you have it. When you schedule your posts, you always have that flexibility to either choose a queue that's pre-made and you know it's going to be posted at the cadence you want and at the optimizations you want, or you can bring it right down to the exact second if you have a specific campaign that needs that, for example. So the last thing I'll show you is let's go to our drafts here. And we are going to find that post that we saved as a draft. There it is. So let's schedule this post now to our Middle Eastern and Europe audience here. So we have the queue ready to go and it already has that schedule. So we didn't have to pick a time. We didn't have to pick a day because we know it's automatically going to choose the best time for that audience. So if we go to the calendar here, there it is, 2:30 p.m. It's going to be posted for that audience. So there you go. Those are the options when you're scheduling. Either you have complete automation or you have some optimization with the time zones, for example, or the different days of the week, or you can just pick a time and send it off to your calendar. With Fedica, you have that flexibility. And if you have any questions about this, let us know. We're always happy to help.